Okay, we are going to go ahead and make the cube primer. We're going to start with the cube part itself. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and jump through quite a few of these instructions. And I like to skim over the instructions just to see where we're going with the drawing. When they refer to X1, they mean click right there on the screen. That's first click. Second click is X2. So we're making a center line, and we're going to go click, click there, X1, X2, and make a center line there. So they want us to make a vertical and a horizontal center line on our screen as we get started. We're going to place a rectangle across the center lines, and we're going to dimension that to 30 by 30, and that's going to give us a rectangle that's two-dimensional. We're going to go ahead and make that three-dimensional and go ahead and make a perfect cube, so it'll be 30 deep as well. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going to go into Creo Parametric 2.0. Go ahead and always set your working directory by coming over to the computer, go to H drive, Creo folder, and right-click Cube Toy, and click on Set Working Directory. Now you can see that I already did that because it's not able to be clicked on. Now we're going to go New, and we're going to make the cube actual part. And I don't believe I've made this part here before, but evidently I've called it cube before. So let's just go ahead and call it cube test again, and click OK. And we're going to start by creating an extrude. And I would like to click and draw on the front plane, and then always click sketch view up here at the top. That's going to orient me to the front plane, which I already clicked on. Now they said if you make a center line vertically, so we'll go ahead and place that, and horizontally, it's kind of lagging here slowly. There we go. Okay, and then a horizontal center line as well. Then when you place a rectangle across that, boy, it's really slow there. Finally, there it goes. Okay, when you place a rectangle across that, what it'll do is naturally snap across the center line, creating it equal on both sides, and then it'll do the same thing vertically across the horizontal center line. So we want to do that so that this square remains centered on our drawing. And I'm having trouble here with the computer keeping up with what I'm doing. Okay, I think it took there. Alright, so now if we middle click our drawing, you're going to see our weak dimensions. And we want to change these to a value of 30 by 30. Just double click the dimensions and go ahead and change those. And now when you accept this drawing with the green check mark, you're going to see that it makes it two-dimensional. It's 30 by 30 by, quite long length, 216. So we're going to go ahead and change this 216 to a 30 also, because we want a perfect cube. Now you can see that the cube is going to be extruded in front of the sketch plane that I selected, which was front. It might be a good idea to, while we're in this mode right here, go ahead and pull this menu down and center it across your sketch view. And that'll give you something to center the whole later on. Now we can accept our drawing and we have a three-dimensional cube. Now let's look at what we have. We have cube underscore test.prt, or a part file. We also have one extrude completed. And if I want to edit this two-dimensional drawing that made up the cube, I can do that by clicking on the arrow on the left, finding section 1, which is our original 2D drawing, right-clicking that, and edit definition. Then these values could be changed from 20, 10, 5, whatever you want it to be. So we'll go ahead and accept that the way it is. If I want to change the depth of the object, I right-click Extrude 1, edit definition, and then I can change the depth. You can see it's 30 right now, and I can edit that. Okay, let's go ahead and place in the rounds next. I'm not actually sure if that's what the instructions call for, but we need to do that at some point. So we're going to click round, and we're going to make the value of those rounds 5. So hit 5, enter, and now everything I click after that will become a round of 5. Now you can only round edges, you can't round faces, so don't click on that surface. You have to click on the actual edge itself. You can see that that edge now is rounded, and I'm going to go all around the object, finding all edges, and this will make it look like the instructions called for. There you go. And then just spin it around and check that you've got them all, and go ahead and green check mark and accept those rounds. If you look in your model tray on the left, you've done two things: extrude one, and then you've rounded part of the features of that extrusion. We're going to go ahead and put 3 holes in the object, and that's how we're going to assemble it together. So we're going to do our first hole here with the extrude tool. I want to extrude on this flat surface, so I'm going to click on whatever that is. Let's just call it top for right now. Click on that flat surface, and then go to sketch view. And we're going to center this hole. Obviously it's going to be centered inside the block. Now if I try to draw a circle right here at the center, I can snap on this vertical plane, but I'm not finding this horizontal plane, but I can make it show it to me. Go ahead and click your arrow, and then come back to your drawing here and right click for a couple seconds, and references should pop up. If you're on a drawing tool, references will not appear. So now that we've clicked references, you can go ahead and find that plane and click on it. It loads it into the references, and you're basically saying, this is something I want to be able to snap to, I want to be able to see. And now when you come back to your center, I can snap to that, I can snap to that, therefore I can find the intersection here and pull that open, middle click, and dimension this to 8. You can see we drew it on that surface right there. So we'll go ahead and accept that. By default it adds material. We're going to send it down through at least 30, and then we're going to hit this remove material button, and you can see it's creating a hole inside of your object. And accept that. Let's try it a different way now. Let's use the hole tool. Hole tool, and I want to draw on that flat surface. And you get quite a different set of tools, or I call these grips. What you need to do basically is you need to take these little green grips and drag them to 2 perpendicular sides from each other. So we're going to drag this green grip to this face, and we're going to grab this green grip and drag it to this face. And then what that does is it allows you to dimension it from this side to the center of the hole is what, and you just have to do the math. Well, we want it centered, so half of 30 is 15. Do the same thing right here. Half of 30 is 15. This is the depth of the hole, so we know we want 30, and we know we want the diameter of the hole to be 8. Now you don't have to hit remove material because you're drawing a hole, which is by nature remove material, and green check mark. And that one's done. Okay, we'll do the last one as an extrude also. So extrude on this face, sketch view, and again we're going to have to set some references. So right click, references, get this edge right here, or that plane I should say, and then go ahead and draw your circle centered in the block. Middle click, double click that, and make this 8. And we're going to go ahead and accept this 2-dimensional drawing. We're happy with it. Send it the other direction. So here's a reverse direction selector up here. Remove material and make it at least 30 and accept it. So we're almost done. The only other thing we have to do on this particular part is we have to make a chamfer on the circle's edge of 0.5. So there's this nice little chamfer tool here. We'll go ahead and select 0.5 up here in our dialog box, and then we're going to click all the edges of these circles. That just kind of makes it a non-sharp edge, so if anybody were to touch it, I guess they wouldn't get cut, and accept that like that. Okay, let's go ahead and color our object and save it. So we're going to go to view, appearance gallery, and you can select one of the preset ones if you want. So I'm going to click on red. I'm looking for this paintbrush. If I come near the planes, I can paint the whole object. If I come near a surface, I would have to hold the control key down and click individual surfaces to color it, and that's fine too. I'm just going to paint the whole thing red, but you got to click OK up here in this box, and there is your first part done. And then File, Save, and it's going to save where you selected as what you called it originally, and just hit OK. Don't forget to save, or you will have to do it over.